Hi friends, in this fourth video related to trigonometry, first we will learn about the signs of T ratios in various quadrants. Then we will know how to determine the values of T ratios for 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree and 90 degree. Then we will use these values of T ratios to solve a question. Hence, be ready with your pen and notebook to pen down the important points for your future revisions. Say first we come to signs of T ratios. Then to determine the signs of T ratios, we must be knowing that a Cartesian plane is divided into four equal parts by two mutually perpendicular axes. Out of this, the horizontal axis is called x-axis or abscissa, while vertical axis is called y-axis or ordinate. If we have to represent a point in this plane, then to represent the point we will have to start from origin and say the point is P. Then to reach point P, first we will move along positive x-axis and then along y-axis. That is, in order to locate a point in this plane, the starting point will be origin. First we will move along x-axis, whether towards right or towards left is not an issue, because if the point will be situated in first and fourth quadrant, then we will first move towards positive x-axis, and if the point will be situated in second and third quadrant, then to locate the point, first we will have to move along negative x-axis. So first we will move along x-axis and then we will move along y-axis to locate a particular point in Cartesian plane. To determine signs of T ratios in various quadrants, say OP is our rotating line. This line is rotating about one of its ends, that is located at center, and since the rotation in anti-clockwise direction is always taken as positive, while rotation in clockwise direction negative, because the angular displacement in clockwise direction will be negative, in anti-clockwise direction it will be positive. So our rotation will start from positive x-axis, that is positive x-axis will be considered to be the 0 degree of the angle of rotation, and the line will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. Since the rotation in anti-clockwise direction is always taken as positive, so from 0 degree to 90 degree, it means first quarter rotation will represent first quadrant. Now 90 degree to 180 degree, that is second quarter rotation of the line will represent second quadrant. 180 to 270 degree, third quarter rotation means third quadrant, and finally 270 degree to 360 degree, the last quarter rotation will form fourth quadrant, and 0 to 360 degree means one complete rotation of line OP about point O. If we want to find out the signs of T ratios in first quadrant, that is from 0 to 90 degree, then in first quadrant the perpendicular drawn from point P on x-axis say meets the axis at point N, then this distance ON being along the positive x-axis will be positive, while PN being along the positive y-axis will also be positive, and also this is the angle under consideration, so ON will be base and base will be positive. In the same way, PN being perpendicular, this will also be positive, and the length of line OP that will always serve as hypotenuse is to be taken as always positive. So in first quadrant, perpendicular, base, hypotenuse all are positive. Since perpendicular, base, hypotenuse all are positive, so all T ratios in first quadrant will be positive. If we come to second quadrant, then for second quadrant this rotating line will be, say, somewhere here. This point is P1. Then the angle of rotation will be this one. This angle will be theta. But since the reference line is x-axis, so the angle being obtuse, the perpendicular from the vertex on the base will be P1n, and this P1n being along the positive y-axis will be positive, that is perpendicular is positive. Now for this angle theta, the base will be ON, and if ON is base, then base will be negative, but hypotenuse is always positive. So all those T ratios in which alone B will appear with either H or P will be negative, while others in which P and H both will appear will be positive. It means P and H both appears only in sine and cosec. Hence in this quadrant sine and cosec will be positive, while rest all will be having base either with perpendicular or with hypot. Hence all other T ratios will be negative. Now we come to the third quadrant. If the line OP comes to third quadrant, then say the point P is at position P2, then this angle will be the angle of rotation of line, and again the reference line, that is base, is along x-axis, so we will have to again draw a normal from P2 over base, and say this time this normal meets x-axis at point N1. Then for this angle which is more than 180 degree, perpendicular will be P2n and this perpendicular will be negative, while base will be ON1 and ON1 will be negative, being along the negative x-axis. So base will be negative, perpendicular will be negative, but hypotenuse is always positive. Hence we may say that all T ratios in which perpendicular and base will appear will be positive, while rest all will be negative, and that T ratios in which perpendicular and base both appear are tan and cot. So in third quadrant tan and cot will be positive, while rest all will be negative. When the line comes to fourth quadrant, say this time the point is P3, then the angle of rotation will be this one, and since again the reference line is x-axis, So base will lie on x-axis only, and say this time the foot of the normal from P3 on x-axis meets x-axis at point N2, then ON2 will be base and base will be positive, while P3N2 being along negative x-axis will be negative. It means in fourth quadrant base is positive, perpendicular is negative, and hypotenuse is always positive. Hence we will say that the T ratios in which base and hypotenuse both will appear will be positive, while rest all will be negative. And we know that base and hypotenuse both appear only in cos and sec. So in fourth quadrant cos and sec will be positive, and it can be remembered by using add sugar to coffee. Add for first quadrant, A means all for add. Now sugar S stands for sine, and when sine is positive its reciprocal cosec will also be positive. 2, third quadrant, 2 gives T, and T means tan. So tan and cot will be positive in third quadrant. Coffee gives us C means cos and its reciprocal sec. So by using add sugar to coffee we can remember the signs of T ratios in various quadrants. In first quadrant all positive, in second quadrant sine and its reciprocal positive, in third tan and its reciprocal positive, and in fourth quadrant cos and its reciprocal, that is sec, will be positive. Now we come to the values of T ratios for 0 degree and 90 degree. In order to find the values of T ratios for 0 and 90 degree, we are again considering the rotating line OP. An angle made by line with positive x-axis will vary from 0 to 90 degree, that is in first quadrant. For this angle theta, perpendicular will be PN and base will be ON, and we know that sine theta is perpendicular upon hypotenuse. If theta will approach to 0 degree, then this point P will approach to a position on x-axis, and when P will approach to a position on x-axis, then point P will approach to a position on x-axis, and when point P will approach to a position on x-axis, then length of hypotenuse will approach to the length of base. It means for 0 degree, base of triangle will become equal to hypotenuse. And what about perpendicular? If angle theta will be 0, hypotenuse will coincide on the base, so length of perpendicular will be 0. So perpendicular will become 0 while base will become equal to hypotenuse. We know sine 0 degree is perpendicular upon hypotenuse and perpendicular is 0, so 0 upon h will give 0. So sine 0 degree will be 0. Now cosec 0 degree will be reciprocal of sine 0 degree, that is 1 upon 0, that is infinite. Now cos 0 degree, cos is base upon hypotenuse, and for 0 degree base becomes equal to hypotenuse. So base and hypotenuse both being equal, cos 0 degree will become 1. Now sec 0 degree will be reciprocal of cos 0 degree, that is 1 upon 1, that is 1 only. Now we come to tan 0 degree. Tan 0 degree tan is perpendicular upon base, and perpendicular in this case will become 0. So it will become 0 upon b, that is 0, and cot 0 degree will be reciprocal of tan 0 degree, that is 1 upon 0, that is infinite. Now when we come to 90 degree, then this angle theta will approach to y-axis, and if theta will approach to y-axis, then this point P will find a position on y-axis. If point P will try to find a position on y-axis, then this perpendicular will approach to hypotenuse. It means for 90 degree, perpendicular will become equal to hypotenuse, and the base length will gradually decrease, and for 90 degree the base length will become 0. So for 90 degree, perpendicular and hypotenuse both will become equal, while base length will become 0. So sine 90 degree, which is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, will become 1, because P and H will be equal. So cos 90 degree reciprocal of sin 90 degree will also be 1. Cos 90 degree base upon hypotenuse, base is 0, so cos 90 will be 0, and sec 90 reciprocal of cos 90, that is 1 upon 0, means infinite. Tan 90 degree will be perpendicular upon base, and base is 0, so perpendicular upon 0 means infinite, and cot 90 degree 1 upon infinite, and 1 upon infinite is always 0. So these are the values of T ratios for 0 degree and 90 degree. If we come to the values of T ratios for 45 degree, then to determine values of T ratio for 45 degree, we will have to assume an isosceles right angle triangle. This is an isosceles right angle triangle, so both of the equal sides, say, are having length A. If equal sides are of length A, then by Pythagoras theorem we can find out the hypotenuse. This hypotenuse H will be under root A square plus A square, that is root 2A. Now we can take either angle A or angle C. Say if we are taking angle A, sine 45 degree perpendicular upon hypotenuse, means A upon root 2A, that is 1 by root 2, and cosec 45 degree being reciprocal of this will become root 2. Cos 45 degree base upon hypotenuse, and base is also A, so A upon root 2A will give 1 by root 2 again, and sec 45 will be root 2. When we come to tan 45, tan 45 is perpendicular upon base, perpendicular and base both are A, so it will be A upon A, that is 1, and cot 45 reciprocal of 1, that is 1 again. Now when we come to the values of T ratios for 30 degree and 60 degree, then we will have to assume an equilateral triangle. So it is an equilateral triangle with edge length A. We are drawing a perpendicular from vertex of triangle on its base. Say the foot of perpendicular is N, then this N will divide the base in two halves, A by 2 and A by 2, and from this we can calculate the height H, that is AN, of the triangle. By Pythagoras theorem, H will be under root hypotenuse square, yani A square minus base square, that is A square by 4, and this will become under root 4A square minus A square by 4. It means root 3 a by 2. It will be the height of equilateral triangle. Now using triangle ANC or ABN, we can find out the T ratios for 30 and 60 degree, because if this angle is 60, this one is 90, then this will be 30 degree, and hence we can use either triangle ANC or triangle ANB. Say we are using triangle ABN, then from triangle ABN, sine 30 degree, sine 30 perpendicular BN upon hypotenuse AB, and BN upon AB means A by 2 upon A. A by 2 divided by A will give 1 by 2. So sine 30 degree will be 1 by 2, and this implies cosec 30 degree will be 2. Cos 30 degree will be base upon hypotenuse. Base will be h. It means cos 30 degree will be root 3 a by 2 upon hypotenuse is a, that is root 3 by 2, and this implies sec 30 degree will be reciprocal of this, that is 2 by root 3. Now tan 30 degree will be perpendicular upon base. Perpendicular is a by 2, base is root 3 a by 2, so it will become a by 2 divided by root 3 a by 2. A by 2 will get cancelled and we will get 1 by root 3, and this implies cot 30 degree will be root 3, reciprocal of tan 30 degree. Now when we come to 60 degree, then for sine 60 degree, perpendicular upon hypotenuse, that is root 3 a by 2 upon a, and this will give us root 3 by 2. So cosec 60 degree will become reciprocal of this, that is 2 by root 3. Now cos 60 degree will be base upon hypotenuse. Base is a by 2, hypotenuse is a, so it will be a by 2 upon a, that is 1 by 2, and this implies sec 60 degree is equal to 2, reciprocal of cos 60 degree. Tan 60 degree perpendicular upon base, that is root 3 a by 2 upon a by 2, it will give us root 3, and cot 60 degree reciprocal of tan 60 degree, that is 1 by root 3. From these values of T ratios we can prepare a table. Sine 0 degree can be written as root 0 by 4, that is 0. 30 degree root 1 by 4, that is 1 by 2. Then 45 degree will be root 2 by 4, that is 1 by root 2. 60 degree root 3 by 4, that is root 3 by 2, and 90 degree root 4 by 4, that is 1. Thus the values of sine for 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90 degree can be obtained by root of 0 by 4, 1 by 4, 2 by 4, 3 by 4, 4 by 4. It means we have to only change the numerator from 0 to 4 and denominator will remain 4 only. So in this way also we can learn how to get the values of sine for all angles. Now for cos the values will get reversed. 1 root 3 by 2, 1 by root 2, and then 1 by 2, and then 0. It is because for two complementary angles, sine of one will be equal to the cos of other. That is, sine 90 minus theta will be cos theta, cos 90 minus theta will be sine theta. In next video, we will obtain those relations. Now, tan sine upon cos, so 0 upon 1 is 0, 1 by 2 divided by root 3 by 2 will be 1 by root 3, 1 by root 2 upon 1 by root 2, 1, root 3 by 2 divided by 1 by 2 will give root 3, 1 divided by 0 will give infinite. Cot reciprocal of tan, 1 upon 0, infinite, reciprocal of 1 by root 3 will be root 3, 1, reciprocal of root 3, 1 by root 3, and reciprocal of infinity will be 0. Now sec reciprocal of cos, 1, 2 by root 3, root 2, 2, and reciprocal of 0 will be undefined. Then cosec reciprocal of sine, reciprocal of 0 undefined, and then 2 root 2, 2 by root 3, and 1, because for two complementary angles, sec of one will be equal to cosec of other. So these values are reversed in order for cosec. Now we are solving a question depending upon these values of t ratios. Say in the question sin 3 theta is given 1 and we are asked tan square theta minus sec square theta. We know the identity, 1 plus tan square theta is sec square theta. So tan square theta minus sec square theta will become minus 1. So the answer of this should come out to be minus 1, because that trigonometric identity is true for all values of theta. Now we will check whether the answer will be minus 1 or not. If sin 3 theta is 1, then this implies sin 3 theta is 1 means sin 90 degree. So sin 3 theta will be sin 90 degree, implies 3 theta is 90 degree, and this implies theta is equal to 90 by 3, that is 30 degree. And if we will put theta is equal to 30 degree in it, we will get tan square 30 degree minus sec square 30 degree. Let this value is y, so y is equal to tan square 30 degree will be square of tan 30, that is 1 by root 3 square, minus sec square 30 degree, sec 30 is 2 by root 3, so 2 by root 3 square. 1 by root 3 square will be 1 by 3, minus 2 by root 3 square will be 4 by 3, and LCM being 3, 1 minus 4 by 3, minus 3 by 3, that is minus 1. So the value of tan square theta minus sec square theta will be minus 1 when sin 3 theta will be 1. Now we are taking one more question related to the values of t ratios. In this question we have to solve 3 tan theta plus cot theta is equal to 5 cosec theta for theta. It means we have to find the value of theta which will satisfy this equation. Here 3 tan theta can be written as 3 into sin theta upon cos theta plus cot theta cos theta upon sin theta equal to 5 upon cosec theta being 1 upon sin theta, 5 upon sin theta. And this implies if you will take LCM, it will become sin theta into cos theta and 3 sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 5 upon sin theta. These sin thetas will get cancelled, so we will be left with cos theta as linear. So it will be better to change this sin square theta into cos square theta. by using sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. So we will get 3 sin square theta will become 1 minus cos square theta plus cos square theta equal to 5 cos theta. This will give 3 minus 3 cos square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 5 cos theta, and this will give minus 2 cos square theta taken this side, 2 cos square theta plus 5 cos theta, and 3 taken to this side, minus 3 equal to 0. Now we will split the middle term because it is a quadratic equation in cos theta. So this will give 2 cos square theta, and 2 plus 3 is 5, but we require minus 3 into 2, that is minus 6. So the factors should be made with negative sign, hence plus 6 minus 1 cos theta. 6 minus 1 will be 5, and product of 6 and minus 1 will be minus 6 because we require minus 6 as the product. Minus 3 equal to 0. This gives 2 cos square theta plus 6 cos theta minus cos theta minus 3 equal to 0. This implies if we will take 2 cos theta as common, then it will give cos theta plus 3, and from here we will take minus 1 as common to get cos theta plus 3 equal to 0, and this will give cos theta plus 3 as common, 2 cos theta minus 1 equal to 0. And if product of two factors is 0, then at least one of them should be 0. It means either this is 0 or this is 0. If cos theta plus 3 is 0, then this implies cos theta is equal to minus 3, and value of sin theta and cos theta can change between minus 1 and plus 1 only. So minus 3 is not possible, and if it is not possible, then the only possibility is 2 cos theta minus 1 is equal to 0, and this will give us cos theta is equal to 1 by 2, and we know that 1 by 2 is the value of cos 60 degree, so it will be cos 60 degree, implies theta is equal to 60 degree is the solution to this equation. In next video we will study about the T ratios for 90 plus minus theta, 180 plus minus theta, 270 plus minus theta, 360 plus minus theta, and for minus theta. Also we will solve the questions related to these.